Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the restoration. At this point, that's what I'm going to call it, a restoration on my wife's 2004 Chevy Suburban 2500. Over the last episode, if you haven't seen it, I'll tag it up above, but I completely tore apart the truck, suspension, front end, wheel bearings, brakes, rotors, and since then I have even taken more parts off of this truck. I've taken the running boards off. I have pulled the gas tanks out of this. I have also pulled the transmission cross member out. And I'm also going to pull the front torsion bar key cross member out as well. The goal for this episode is to show you how to effectively convert rust on your project. This frame is excessively rusty, and I wanted to solve the rust issue on this. I found a product on Amazon called Corroseal. I can say that it is a converter. It doesn't strengthen the metal in any way, so if you have any kind of weak spots or like any through rust or holes in your frame, it's obviously not going to fix that problem. That's a structural thing, so you're going to have to repair those. That is the premise for today's episode. So now all I have to do is challenge the build. So let's get to it. So just with like any project, it all is going to boil down to prep work. Just like painting, it is going to be 90% prep and 10% paint. Now I'm just going to call it paint, even though this is just a conversion coating. But it really is going to determine, the quality of the job is going to determine on really two things. One, how well you can follow the manufacturer's instructions, and then two, the prep. Like I said earlier, this frame is excessively rusty, so it's going to definitely require a good amount of time to prep it. The reason it looks the way it does is the undercoating from the factory that they put on this frame has not done its job by any means. And what happens is the water gets in behind that undercoating, locks in, the undercoating locks in the moisture, it starts to rust, and then it starts to kind of flake up. So a lot of what you see coming off, granted, there is obviously some metal attached to it, but a lot of it is the undercoating from the factory from all those years ago. In the back, it's a little bit worse. There's one area that I need to patch in for the gas tank mount. With reading the bottle, one of the things that stands out to me is it says do not apply within 4 hours of precipitation. Well, today it's raining, so I'm not going to be applying this today, but considering the amount of prep work that I have, I will stay plenty busy on a rainy day doing prep work. As far as tools, use whatever you can. Hammer, chipping hammer to kind of chip away some of the scaly stuff, wire brush, scrapers, whatever you have to prep it. And I cannot stress enough, follow the directions as best as you can for the best results, and it boils down to prep. And then the fun part will be painting it and seeing the results of the hard work when it comes to prep. So I'm going to get back to doing it. Like I said, any means possible. Not only does the hammer help get frustrations out, it puts a good vibration through the frame rails and through the metal. Now, granted, you can't always use a hammer for all the projects, but for this project, it's working out really well. And not only that, when you're tapping on the frame, you can kind of gauge the quality of the metal and the strength by the sound that it makes. So a hammer's been pretty successful for me here. Also a wire brush, using screwdriver for some of the nooks and the crannies. You figure this is a 215,000 plus mile vehicle. So there's a lot of road grime, grease, oil, all kinds of stuff up here to be expected. So this side's about pretty much wrapped up. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it down with a little bit of brake clean and then move on to the next wheel well. So it's pretty much the same procedure back here, really nothing all too exciting. More hammering, picking, wire brushing, spraying. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and speed this process up a little bit. I'm not gonna cut away and do any like camera magic. I'm not gonna go into the next day. I'm still going to show you the process, but I am gonna time lapse it. So go ahead and cue the music and let's continue to challenge the build. So after about a full day of scraping, picking, hammering, chiseling, sweeping, all of that stuff, wire brushing, the frame is pretty well squared away to at least the point where I am done with it. Unfortunately, the weather for me is hindering the progress of the work right now. So now it's just a matter of waiting on the weather to cooperate with us so that way we can apply the Corroseal to the frame. That is one thing that you probably will want to keep in mind, is depending on the type of job that you are doing and the location that you are doing it in. Bear in mind weather conditions. Weather conditions have to be dry and warm, so that way it will aid in the application process and in the curing process. So bear with me as we wait for nice weather, and the next scene that you will be the day that we apply the Corroseal. So hang tight. So it is finally 2 days after all of the prep has been done. We finally have a really nice day to be able to do this. You're going to want to work in a well-ventilated area. The temperature has to be right, and there has to be a limited amount of moisture in the air because this is a water-based product. Obviously, with the moisture in the air, it will affect how this stuff reacts to the application process. And as you can see, I just coated this little bit here, and it's already starting to turn purple. And when this stuff starts to turn purple, that means it's actually working and converting to rust. The application process is really simple. 8 to 10 mils it recommends as far as a thickness. You can apply it by brush, roller, sprayer. All the instructions are on the back of the bottle. Now it's just a matter of painting and applying the Corroseal. It kind of reminds me of being a kid painting with water. You know, as a kid, your mom gives you your little bucket of water and a paintbrush, and you go paint the sidewalks or whatever you could do. And it was a fun way to pass some time. Obviously now we're going to pass some time with applying Corroseal. So cue the music, the time lapse, and let's challenge the build. Well, I am coming to the end of the day, and I am still not completed with the first coat on the truck frame. I'm about 70% complete, and it's about time for me to wrap it up. But now you can at least see what's involved in the process behind using Corroseal, the converter. It really boils down to prep work and then taking your time with the application of it. A few things that I think you may need for this type of job is time, for one. You're going to want to allot the amount of time that you're going to need to do something like this. I'm 3 days, almost 4 days into it now, and probably still have another full day to go. You're going to want to have patience. With the application process, it is relatively easy to apply, but because of laying on my back, working in the nooks and the crannies, trying to reach into certain areas, also knowing that you're not going to be able to get 100% coverage in certain areas, you're going to need to have patience working through this entire process. With the amount of time that I have on the prep side, I'm going to not half-ass it on the paint side. That's why we're going to end the video here now, because I still have a lot of work to do on the other side of the frame, and I am not going to jeopardize the final product for just trying to get the video done. So if you have any interest in seeing the final result, I would say tune in for part 2.1. And if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell so that way you're notified about when I drop the video. There's a lot of other work being done to this truck while it's in here. So there's going to be quite a few videos dropping within the next couple of weeks on this as well. So that was the video on Corroseal. I hope you've enjoyed it. This video was not sponsored by them. This product was something that I searched out on my own because I knew that I was going to do this project. I found it on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon as well using the links in the description below. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. My name is Paul Michael. This is Challenge the Build, and now it's time for you to go out and challenge your build. I will see you in an upcoming video.